again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And with all of the stuff that's going on in America today, right? All of the crazy immigration shit, the price of fucking cabbage going through the roof. People can't afford to buy eggs anymore. Cars are out of control. Infrastructure's a disaster. All the crap that's going on in the Middle East and Europe and all this other shit that's going on. Chucky Schumer, maybe the most incompetent politician ever voted in the state of New York, and there have been a lot of them, took time out of his day, time out of the Senate, to introduce a resolution to reject, whatever that means, a 26-year-old podcaster named Nick Fuentes, which I see as being absolutely irresponsible and outrageous. First of all, what does reject mean? Where are we going with this? What is Chucky trying to do here? Are you trying to silence him? I mean, did you ever hear of freedom of speech? Are you trying to bring about maybe criminal charges against him? What's reject mean? What is he saying here? And we have a clip of Schumer and of this introduction to the bill, where he wants Republicans and Democrats in the Senate to vote on this and support his bill, or support his resolution, I should say. But what exactly is this for? Is this only for hate speech? Is this only for, slanderous rhetoric? Or is it just for, hey, don't talk about Jews, don't talk about Israel in a negative way, or else? I mean, is this an Israeli government here? Are we like communist North Korea that, hey, if you talk about Kim Jong-un, you're going to get fucking crucified? I mean, we live in a country where we're supposed to criticize, where we're supposed to have debate on how our country is run and how politicians conduct themselves and where our tax money goes. Isn't that what democracy was all about in ancient Athens? Open debate without fear of pissing somebody off to the point where they could put you in jail, where they could kill you and take your property. I mean, I'm guessing that if I came on this podcast today and said, you know what, Norway has an awful shit government, their country sucks, their infrastructure sucks, they're awful people, blah, 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 no one would give two shits. But you talk about that little desert strip of land in the Middle East, oh boy, you might have a SWAT team behind your door in 15 minutes. This is an incredible development here. That Schumer, the Democrat Senate leader, is taking his bully pulpit and calling out this guy. And for what? Maybe, just maybe, he's touched a nerve somewhere. Because if somebody's talking shit about me and it's not true, the Stoics always say, you just ignore it. It's none of your business what other people think of you. Who gives a fuck? It's actually a compliment if they're talking about you, if you live in their head. But if they talk about you and they're saying bullshit and you react, well, you're kind of giving them credibility. If they're talking about you if they're being negative, if they're talking about you in a negative way, and you react like Schumer does, and you're saying, well, everything he's saying is not true, well, why acknowledge it? If it's not true, if he's a psychopath, he'll go away after a while. People can read between the lines. They know who's legit and who's not. But by going on the Senate floor and calling for a resolution to reject this guy, calling out Tucker Carlson just because he interviewed him, calling out Donald Trump just because, I think, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, he had dinner with him with that other nut job, Kanye West. There's more to this. There just has to be. Because if somebody's a psychopath, you ignore him, you laugh at him. But not here. These guys are serious. They're terrified. They're terrified of this kid from Chicago who goes on a podcast every night, rants and raves for 2 hours, and he calls out a certain branch of people. Well, no, not really. He calls out a lot of people. He's been hammering Trump over and over again for the past 2 weeks. There's something to this. You don't need to silence the jester. People will mock and laugh at what he says. But you have to silence the credible person, the Socrates. And I'm not comparing Nick Fuentes to Socrates, of course. But he has touched a nerve. And we're going to play you, well, I'm going to play you this clip today of Schumer's resolution speech. And this is where our tax dollars are going. This is where our country's at right now. It's all about one group of people, the smallest minority in the country. We have to bow to them, and we have to pass resolutions so people won't people won't be mean to them. We have to get a resolution so people won't be mean to Jews. It's ridiculous. Here's Chucky.
And finally, on anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism in America has reached a dangerous tipping point. Jewish Americans are facing threats, harassment, and violence at levels we have not seen in generations. And as I have said many times in this chamber, anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine. Where there's anti-Semitism, there lurks white supremacy and other pernicious forms of hate. Well, 3 days ago, the President of the United States declined to condemn Nick Fuentes' hateful views and defended Tucker Carlson's decision to give Fuentes a platform. The President was asked about his thoughts on the interview. He declined to condemn Nick Fuentes. That is disgusting. For Donald Trump to excuse and protect the spread of Nick Fuentes' ideology confirms what many of us have long said. White supremacy and anti-Semitism are taking deep roots, unfortunately, within the Republican Party. Just as we saw from the leaked texts of young Republicans, just as we saw from text messages of administration officials, the Nick Fuentes saga on the right reveals that anti-Semitism and white supremacy have been growing with disturbing currency within the right wing and within the right wing of the Republican Party. But I know this is not true of everyone on the Republican side, especially not for many Republicans in this chamber. Therefore, I will soon lead a resolution here in the Senate rejecting Nick Fuentes and his white supremacist views, condemning Carlson's platforming of hate, and condemning anti-Semitism and white supremacy wherever and whenever it occurs. In the coming days, I will work to grow support for my resolution so the Senate can take a clear stand against hatred and anti-Semitism. I hope my Republican colleagues will join me in this effort and co-sponsor this resolution. Calling out anti-Semitism should not be a partisan issue. In fact, when we refuse to condemn anti-Semitism, when we stay silent and fail to reject anti-Semitic rhetoric, when we normalize hateful figures spewing disgusting anti-Semitism, that is when anti-Semitism spreads throughout society like a poisonous wildfire. Americans don't want to see that happen, so my resolution will give every single senator, a chance to make an important stand against hatred. The country must see us unite and fight this awful form of bigotry.
Mother of Christ. I mean, Chuck is out of his mind. Disgusting. It's awful. I want to know exactly what Fuentes has said that is so anti-Semitic. What is it? Give me an example. Give me an example of how Tucker Carlson is a platform of hate. Give me specifics. This is a guy who's going to use his power as senator to go after a 26-year-old podcaster. And why are the biggest names in politics, Ted Cruz and Schumer and all these other fucking people, why are they targeting this guy? Is it because he's pointing out the fact that AIPAC pays them millions of dollars in donations? Is it because a lot of these politicians are Israel first and not America first? And why is it only the Jews? I mean, Fuentes has said some crazy things about black people. He didn't mention anything about them. He's mentioned stuff about mostly the Spanish-speaking illegal immigrants that have come into this country. Didn't mention them. It's specifically anti-Semitism. He gave no examples of what this guy has said. He's given no examples of how this guy is spreading rhetoric that is poisoning America. Their fear is that this new generation, the boomers are dying. Thankfully, the boomers are dying off. So the whole "we love Israel" shit is going away. Gen X, my generation, we're not into that shit either. Millennials they're all fucked up. But the Gen Zers, these are the people that are rejecting the I Love Israel platform. Totally rejecting it. And these are the people that are growing up. They're the ones that are going to be voting. They're the ones who may or may not join the military. They're the ones who are going to get into politics. This is very, very scary to these people. These people, and not particularly Israel itself, but people like AIPAC, Chuck Schumer, any type of Israel Jewish first apologists in the United States, they're terrified right now of what the future holds. Because if Fuentes' traction that he has right now continues and spreads and is here to stay, that's bad news for them. That's troubling news for them. So they have to try and stamp out and destroy this kid. But what they're doing, what they're actually doing, is legitimizing what he's saying. By attacking Tucker Carlson for interviewing somebody, you're saying, you can only interview people we like. What if Tucker Carlson interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, a guy who has slaughtered hundreds of thousands of people, women and children, innocent women and children in Gaza? Would that be okay? Of course it would. We've seen people over the years, Mike Wallace, Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, interview drug cartel leaders, dictators from all over the world. Nobody's ever said, hey, man, you shouldn't do that. That's terrible. He's killed millions of people, or thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Nobody's condemned those. It's news. You have to interview these people to find out what makes them tick. Tucker Carlson interviewed Fuentes, gave him a platform to find out and let the American people or his viewers make their own mind. Have their own decision about what this kid is about. Now, what does this resolution actually mean? I mean, what's going to be in it? Are you going to try to silence him, jail him? Because as I said before, if Fuentes is saying things that are totally outrageous, untrue, and crazy, why acknowledge it? You're only giving him, you're only making him stronger now by putting him on the top of the target list. And that's what he is. He's a target. And when somebody's a target, they're legitimate. Some guy who says, "Oh, fuck the Jews," or in some bar, nobody cares about that. People will say, "Oh, you're an idiot." But Fuentes is not just saying that. Fuentes has a grip. Fuentes has touched a nerve, and it's bothering a lot of people right now. This is a sciatica for a lot of Israel First people. This is a sciatic pain that they're going through right now. And there's the old saying, the great quote by Kevin Alfred Strom: if you want to know who rules over you, just look at who you're not allowed to criticize. Nothing could be further from the truth, or nothing could be truer, I should say, than those words. This is a shocking development today. And if this goes through, if this goes through and they try to shut down Fuentes' voice, this is going to backfire on them beyond repair. Beyond repair. Because these young people between the ages of 18 and 30 are tired of this bullshit. These old boomers have to go. They're out of touch with what American society is about. And the Ted Cruzes and the Charlie Kirks and all those guys who are all Israel first and I love the Jews, blah, 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 blah. That's over. I told you that already, and we're seeing it. It's done. Stick a fork in it. It's finished. This is the last stand, I think, for Charlie Schumer. He was told to do this. He was paid to do this. And I think it's just going to backfire on these guys in a very big way. It's going to be very interesting to see, very exciting to see. And I'm curious to see what Nick says tonight, because I'm sure he's going to mention this on his show tonight, because he is being condemned on the Senate floor. Is just outrageous to me. They have never been so afraid before. And it seems to me that Nick Fuentes is just inevitable now. It seems like the America First movement is inevitable now. And they can't stop it. It's a freight train that is going to chug, chug, chug. And it might chug the candidate into the White House in the next 12 years. And that will be a disaster for the people with the little tiny hats, because their influence is waning. It's over. It's as close to being over as it's ever been. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friends, Satan is always busy. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, just like what Charlie was using a lot today, it's a mental disorder. And Chucky, he's got mental issues. Be a man. Be a man. Have a backbone. We'll see you later.